And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm John Bon Jovial. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Thank you very much, John Bon Jovial. All the best to our friends in Rochester, New York. And we thank them for their support of us. We'll be back to talk some more, including with our first guest on the other side of this first track. Here's Mr. Randy Edelman. I think you're going to like this tune coming out on the other side.
You wake up with a smile on your face, 'cause today you can't run from your place. You've been locked in your house all year long, but today you begin a new song. You've been pushed from your purpose in life and been scared by the edge of a knife. Now it's time to fight back and break out. Time to see what this life's all about. And just take a good look all around you. Let your heart be filled with pride. Grab your coat and take your belongings. You're coming out the other side. There's a new kind of spring in your step and a fresh attitude you've got left, and a new spirit's filling your space, and a confidence that's your new face. So just take a good look all around you and let your heart fill up with pride. Grab your hat, put your best suit on. You're coming out the other side. You can look at the scene all around you. There's a mountain to climb if you dare. Just take hold and stand firm. Make a difference and learn that, of course, it can lead anywhere. Go and take a walk on the street where you live, 'cause there's more in your tank you can give. There's a friend who needs help over there, so extend your good arm, show you care, and just take a good look all around you and let your heart fill up with pride. Grab your coat and all your belongings. Hey, you're coming out the other side. You're coming out the other side. Here we go! Hey! It just takes a good look
There you go. His name is Randy Edelman. The song is Coming Out the Other Side. It's kind of a post-COVID-19 anthem, and I'm telling you, that song, when I heard it, it just kicked me in the butt and moves me. The drumming, and John and I were talking off mic here during the music, it kind of reminiscent of a guy I haven't heard in a long time, and I'm not even sure he's in the business anymore, Jerry Allison, who was the drummer for Buddy Holly's Crickets on their monster hit, the classic Peggy Sue. And only this guy on Randy's tune, I mean, he keeps it going for the entire song. I mean, it just drives that song. Don't you think, John Bon Jovial?
Well, yeah, that was the first thing that popped into my head, even before Mr. Edelman started singing, was, wow, this is a very nice, is he doing Peggy Sue? And then he started singing, and of course he goes off on a different tangent, but it has that vibe, you know, Peggy Sue, pretty, and of course, you know, I know I'm going to keep my day job. I'm no singer.
Well, that's why you're in radio.
That's why we're in radio. That's right. But it's just got a nice driving beat to it. And you're right. Yes, it's like, oh my gosh, look at that. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. We're coming out from under this COVID thing. It looks like life is going to be good. Let's all be positive. Let's go out and play and be happy. Nice upbeat way to start the show today.
Definitely driven. You know, you can make music. You can make great songs, listenable songs. Every so often, one comes along that is just driven. And another thing that John and I were discussing, Randy has a kind of a rough-edged voice. Johnny Cash was a great singer-musician, but he didn't have what you stylize as the mellifluous, tuneful voice. It was a little more rough-edged, and consequently, you tend to listen to the lyrics, and I think this fits this song perfectly. The fact that you've got this hard-driving drum beat carrying the tune, and you've got this cutting-edge voice that's making you listen to what he's saying. I think it's a great combination. I love this track. I'd love to get Randy on the show and discuss with him how he created this song. I think that would be tremendous. And I'll warn you, I am going to look forward to trying to do just exactly that. We've already saluted our friends at Rochester Free Radio. Want to also mention our friend indie rocker from upstate New York, Frank Palangi, whose home and studio burned down, it was 2-3 months ago. And he's in process of trying to raise funds to rebuild a home and have a studio again. And you can help him if you so desire at Frank Palangi, Palangi. You can find him on Facebook, where they list the link to his GoFundMe account. You can also find him anywhere on the internet. Just Google Frank Palangi and help out at an indie rocker from upstate New York who definitely needs your help, and he is definitely worth helping. He's a worker. He works at his trade. He's good to his followers. As a matter of fact, the thing that caught my attention to him years ago was the fact at the time he was one of the few upcoming emerging rockers who was actively working his social media. He got in there. He talked to people. He interacted with them. He encouraged them to keep in touch with him. And in return, he stayed in touch with them. So hats off, Frank Palangi. Help him out if you can. And Terry Johnson of the Swamp Drivers, we want to send our best wishes to him. Just found out that Terry had gone through a knee replacement surgery on August 31st. We're sorry to hear that it was necessary, but we're glad that he was able to get it done. I've talked to many people who have had this surgery successfully, and they are ever so glad they did. And we wish Terry Johnson of the Swamp Drivers the same thing. Terry also is the one who does the Mojo custom guitars, using everything from shovels to auto and bike parts. We wish him all the very best. And you can drop by Terry Johnson or the Swamp Drivers and send your wishes to him as well. John Bon Jovial, do you have the David Bowers Awards salute for us this week?
Well, yeah, but before we get to that real quick, you know, you had mentioned just a second ago the GoFundMe campaign. And, of course, GoFundMe is an offshoot of that classic website that started it all, the Go Fund Yourself
And I waited for that one.
Look, okay.
Already. That being said,
what happened to Frank is awful, and we're all pulling for you, Frank. We really are. Honest to goodness, we want so bad for you to get back up on your feet. But if you've been around radio people long enough, you know that we're all a bunch of twisted
sickos
folks. Yes. Yeah. Okay. But speaking of the award today, and it's a sad one, unfortunately. As most of you know by now, we lost Charlie Watts of the Rolling Stones not too long ago, just a few days ago, as of the recording of this show, and just one of the, other than of course being in the Rolling Stones, he was a brilliant jazz musician, had several different big bands that he was a member of, that projects that he was involved in, and just an all-around really down-to-earth good guy and a very sharp dresser. So, Charlie, here's to that rock and roll band in the sky that we all know that you're joining in now with Janis Joplin, and Jimi Hendrix, and Jim Morrison, and
rock and roll heaven,
Eddie James, and all the other greats. So Thank you for all your years of wonderfulness, Charlie. We really appreciate it.
And for all his talents, I think he is equally well known by many in the business who have, worked with and seen what goes on with the Stones. He was kind of the glue that kept the Stones together and headed in the right direction. And I'll never forget the classic story. I'm sure you've all heard it, but I'm going to reference it now. The classic story of him hearing Mick Jagger refer to him as my drummer. He went immediately to the hotel room and called him out and said, "Don't you ever call me your drummer again. You're my singer." And that story has gone around in circles for a long time. I don't know that it's true, but I've never heard either one of them deny it. So I'm going to assume that it's pretty close to correct. Although,
if it is, that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards probably, from time to time over the years, have gotten a fairly decent chuckle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right now, we're going to keep the music moving because we've got another fun-filled, music-filled show. A couple of great guests coming up, a new one and a returning guest. We're going to the new guest first, and his name is Davy Williamson. And here's his track, The Thin Disguise.